Hello and welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to walk you through 3 steps to destroy the flu. Not sure if you can hear it or not, but I'm a little bit congested. I just had the worst cold or flu that I've had in the last 10 years. And it kind of inspired me to make this guide for you so that if you catch something, you can get through it a little bit quicker, with a little bit less pain, a little bit less discomfort. So straight to it. The first thing that you're going to want to do if you catch the cold or the flu is make sure that your body has all of the resources, all of the nutrients that it needs to deal with that cold or flu in the best, quickest and most efficient way possible. Now, obviously all nutrients are important, but there are some in the context of a cold or a flu that are really important, so I want to go over them with you. The first is going to be calories. Your immune system is extremely expensive. It costs your body so many calories to have a strong immune system. So if you're someone that's dealing with frequent colds or flus and you're trying to live in a calorie deficit, that's definitely something that you might want to consider changing. Now, I know when you actually have a cold or a flu, you might find your appetite all over the place. You might find yourself with a very low appetite. You might find yourself craving really high calorie foods. Honestly, I would encourage you to just go with that. Just do whatever your body's asking you. Don't think about it too much. Very often, we can let our minds get in the way of our body's natural healing wisdom. During the actual cold or flu, just do what your body's saying. If your appetite is really low and you're not that hungry, and you feel pulled towards fasting or eating very little, then go with that. But on the contrary, if you feel like you are ravenous, if you are extremely hungry, if you're finding it really hard to satiate yourself, eat. Eat as much as you can. Your body is saying, I need resources to deal with this. I'm going to talk about a couple of specific foods in a moment, but generally follow your appetite. Your body really knows what it's doing. So other than calories, we've got 3 core nutrients that are really important. And you can be utilizing these in between colds and flus to build the immune system up so that when you do get sick, your stores are replenished and it's easier for your body to deal with it. You can also look at using these in even higher doses during an acute period of cold or flu. And these 3 nutrients, I actually want to see if you can guess what they are. Leave me a comment below. What do you think these 3 nutrients are going to be? You've got 2 seconds before I tell you. So these 3 nutrients are vitamin D, vitamin C, and zinc. I'm going to try and give you a rough idea of dosages, but this is also always going to depend on your current situation, and don't misunderstand this as medical advice. It's not, just giving you a general rule of thumb. So from what I've seen, the average human adult needs between 7 and 10,000 IUs of vitamin D per day. If your vitamin D levels are in a really high or really good optimal range, as in they're within 10 to 20% of the upper range of vitamin D, you can probably just stay at this dose. You're probably pretty saturated. Your body doesn't really need much more. If you tend to have vitamin D deficiency, if you're only in the mid range or you're much further below, I have seen in some instances people using doses of vitamin D between 25,000 IUs and 50,000 IUs a day, which is extremely high. It's not something you should be doing on a long-term basis, but during periods of cold or flu, it could be really helpful to boost the immune function. If you are using doses as high as that, you also want to make sure that you have some of the other cofactor nutrients. So the ones that are important in this context would be vitamin K2. All good vitamin D supplements have vitamin K2 in with them, and also some minerals like calcium and magnesium. I'm going to talk to you about drinking broth, bone broth, in a minute, so you're going to get plenty of the calcium there. Magnesium you can get from juicing, you can get from taking a magnesium supplement. I'm also going to talk about Epsom salt baths in a bit, so that's also a really good option there. So vitamin D, the reason that it's so important is it's the modulator of your immune system. So if you have autoimmune diseases, vitamin D helps calm it down. If you have acute or chronic infections, it helps to ramp the immune system up to trigger the response. It also does a lot of other things. Vitamin D in your body works like a hormone, so it regulates many different things, primarily connected to the circadian rhythm. So this is your ability to sleep. This is having energy in the day. It's connected to your cortisol rhythms, your appetite. It controls a lot of different things. But in this context, the main function that we're looking at is how it regulates and modulates your immune system. The next nutrient that's really important is vitamin C. Your body can actually use vitamin C directly to kill pathogens. It can basically, in a way, turn it into a reactive oxygen species and use it as a weapon. It's also really handy because vitamin C is a very powerful antioxidant. You can use it to boost your glutathione levels naturally. Your body will kind of use it sacrificially. So you will use this to spare all of your other antioxidant statuses. So not only can you use it to actually actively help with killing an active infection, but you could also use it to mop up all of the oxidative damage, all of the free radicals, all of the nasty toxins and chemicals and things that are produced as a consequence of having an active infection in the body. There are certain circumstances where you want to be more careful with vitamin C, like if you don't metabolize vitamin C very well and you produce a lot of oxalate, or it can also cause Herxheimer reactions, again, because your body uses this to clear infections. So If you haven't used it in a long time, you might want to build the dose up slowly, but during an active infection, you could be looking at using doses of up to 6,000 milligrams per day. I wouldn't do that all in one go. I would spread that out as evenly through the day as possible. So for example, if you're having 3 meals in the day, you could add 2,000 milligrams to each meal. I would say that generally speaking, the best form and the best tolerated form of vitamin C tends to be a liposomal form. There are other options for people in different contexts. For example, you could use buffered ascorbate, which can help if you have a bit of more of a sensitive stomach. But for the best effect, generally I would suggest liposomal vitamin C. And finally, we've got zinc. Zinc is also even more important if you're a man because we use a lot of zinc in testosterone production. One of the things that you'll notice especially if you're a man and you have a cold or a flu, all of the functions of testosterone tend to be completely depressed because your body is rerouting all of your zinc into your immune system instead of into your sex hormone production. So zinc, very important for men and women, but even more important for men. The form I find to be best is zinc carnosine. This is also really nice if you have a sensitive stomach. It can also support leaky gut and gastritis. So there's some added benefits in there as well. Now you don't have to go crazy with this. I wouldn't be aiming at like doing mega dosing like we've kind of been doing with the vitamin D and the vitamin C. Just take a standard dose that you would get in a zinc carnosine supplement. Just 1 capsule a day, that's enough. You don't need to go crazy on this. Actually, you don't want to because you can throw other things out of balance like your copper balance. So you don't want to be going like so wild and crazy with this one. Just make sure you don't have a deficiency. That's basically what we're trying to achieve here. So if we've provided the body with the resources that it needs, so we've got enough calories, we've got surplus of calories, we've got vitamin D, we've got vitamin C, we've got zinc. The next step is to actively boost our immune system. Now, there's a couple of ways we can do this, and we're going to do this from as many different angles as we can. So you can utilize as many of these strategies as you like. And if some of them don't work for you, then don't use them, use other ones. So the first would be heat therapies. Anything you can do to increase your body temperature is going to help your body with fighting infection. This is why people with the most strong and robust immune systems, when they get really sick, they will literally have a fever for 3, 4, 5 days, won't eat very much, completely wiped out. As soon as they finish it, they'll feel amazing. They'll feel on top of the world. Just because the body is super metabolically active and it's pumping all of these resources, all of these calories, all of these nutrients into feeding this fever. But we don't actually have to trigger a fever to get these benefits. We can do it artificially. We can simulate a fever. So it really doesn't matter how you do this. As long as you're increasing the body temperature, you're going to get this effect. So you can do a hot bath, you can use saunas, wet or dry saunas. You can even do things like sunbathing. These will all increase the body temperature and therefore increase the activation of the immune system. A couple of little tips and tricks that could be really nice are the wet saunas can be really helpful if you have a lot of congestion. If you're finding that your nose is blocked, if you have a lot of mucus in your sinuses, in your lungs, the wet saunas can be really helpful as they hydrate that mucus and thin it out, which makes it really easy for your body to remove. One of the most important things about clearing a cold or flu is to make sure that the mucus is moving. You know, if the nose and the sinuses are congested, we need to find a way to move this mucus. The quicker you are able to move and mobilize this mucus, the quicker you're going to heal. So using a wet sauna can be really nice because it helps to thin this mucus out, which makes it lots easier to move. Even a hot bath or a dry sauna, because they're increasing the temperature, as a temperature increases, viscosity of the mucus decreases. So all of the mucus, not just in the sinuses and in the neck, but also in the lymphatic fluid, in the stomach, in the abdomen, around the lungs, as the body temperature increases, all of this is going to get thinner and easier to move. So using self-massage in combination with these heat therapies is nice, but we're going to come to self-massage in a moment. Another little trick is that if you're going to be using hot baths, you can stick some Epsom salts in there. For me personally, I've been coughing a lot. All of the muscles in my diaphragm, in my abdomen, even in my traps up here, you have peripheral breathing muscles up here as well. They're all really tired and achy. And a hot bath with Epsom salts can be really helpful to replenish that magnesium, relax those muscles. And if you're already having a hot bath anyway, it's really nice to just add this in and get some extra benefits. So the therapeutic dose could be, considering that you're sick, you're fighting an infection, you probably need a lot more resources. You could be looking at between 4 and 8 cups of Epsom salts. The next thing we can do to boost your immunity is to look at your microbiome and your gut. 70 to 80% of your immune system is in your gut. All of your lymphatic fluid is draining into your digestive system. So if we can work on supporting your digestive system and the microbiome, it's going to have an enormous impact on your ability to fight and clear colds and flus. If you're watching this and you're not actually actively sick, this is why working on your microbiome is such an important part of building your immune system up. if you are actually actively in a cold or a flu right now, it's still a really good time to try and work on that microbiome and provide your body with lots of gut microbiome support. So first and most easy is probiotics and fermented foods. If you're already taking probiotics or fermented foods on a daily basis, just keep doing that. That's going to be great. If you're not, this might be a nice time to add them in. Things like sauerkraut, kimchi, kefir, they can be really helpful. If you do have pre-existing gut or digestive problems, you might want to not do this one because you're going to trigger Herxheimer reactions and you're going to put more work on your body, and your body is already dealing with a whole bunch of stuff. It doesn't need extra work being put on top of it. But if you're otherwise generally healthy and you've got a pretty good gut health, now is a really nice time to load in a bunch of fermented foods and probiotics to help your body break this mucus down that's being all dumped in the digestive system. It's one of the best things that you can do to boost your immunity. You could also look at some other things like potentially colostrum. That could be a really nice option, something to add that's immune stimulating, helps the gut, has some prebiotics, and some other things that can help to modulate the immune system as well, like propolis and even things like raw honey. These all have substances that help your immune system. Talking about these sort of food options is actually a really nice transition into looking at how we can boost immunity through the food choices that we have while we're sick. So as a rule of thumb, I would be having at least 1 cup of bone broth or meat stock every single day. Whether you're having it actually as a glass of broth or stock, or if you're using this in the base and soups and stews, actually doesn't matter. I don't know about you, but when I get sick, I just love chicken soup. I think it's quite an archetypal thing, you know? It's like when you get sick, you eat chicken soup. That's just what you do. And this is great. This is really great for gut health. It has a lot of immune stimulating substances. It has lots of these mucilaginous agents which can help with your body producing mucus and helping the integrity of the gut, which is really active when you have a cold or a flu. You might have noticed that sometimes you get cold or flu in like up here in the sinuses and in the lungs. Sometimes you get it more as like a tummy bug kind of thing. And maybe your food feels off, or maybe you've got constipation or diarrhea. This is because your gut is the seat of your immune system. If you've got stuff going on in your lungs, in your sinuses, if you're coughing and sneezing, you're producing mucus, there's a lot happening in your gut as well. So it's really important that we work on the gut at the same time. And this is also a really nice opportunity. So you're having broths, you're having soups. Stick some garlic in there, stick some onions. These can be really nice for your immune system. Get some polyphenols in there, get some ginger, some turmeric, you know, make it taste nice, give it some colors and flavors. All of these things are anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, immune stimulating. Just pile all of these things in and make it taste really good. It's really important that you add enough salt as well. Make sure that it tastes good. If it tastes bland, you need to add more salt. Your body needs salt during an infection. When you're mobilizing all of this mucus, your electrolyte levels become imbalanced, your hydration status becomes challenged. So we've got to make sure that we're providing these according to what the body is asking. And the best way to do that is to do according to taste. Your body will tell you how much salt, how much sodium it needs by the taste. Just make sure that you're using a real salt, a sea salt, a Himalayan salt, nothing like just pure sodium chloride. Make sure it's an unrefined natural salt. Finally, on the food front, sometimes you don't really feel like eating complicated food. You know, if you just want to have toast with butter on, that's fine. If you're just craving simple foods that are high calorie with very little effort to digest, then go for it. That tells you your body is working and it doesn't want to spend all of its resources on digesting food. So listen to what your body's saying. You know, soups, stews, simple foods. Juicing can also be really nice here. If you can get some vegetable juice in you, some fruit juice, this could be really nice. Good amount of vitamin C, trace minerals, polyphenols for the gut, provides calories without requiring very much digestion. Now, that's a really nice time to add fresh fruit or vegetable juices in. Now, the third step is about symptom relief. Symptom relief isn't just about making you feel better. Symptoms are generally an indicator of dysfunction. Symptoms tell you that something's wrong. They tell you that something isn't working properly. And many of the symptoms that you experience around a cold or a flu are actually your body asking for help. We kind of have just accepted that when you have a cold or flu, like you're gonna be achy, your head's gonna hurt. This doesn't have to be the case. A lot of the time this is happening because there are dysfunctions that we can address. And that's what I want to help you with here. I want to help you get symptom relief, but also in a way where we're supporting the body's ability to function and to clear the infection. So the first tip here is actually to rest and relax. I know this sounds like, oh, what are you talking about? This is like such a stupid point, but seriously, A lot of these aches and pains and discomfort and uncomfortable sensations that you're experiencing are coming because you're overexerting yourself. I know that when you have a cold or a flu, you can get really bored, like laying in bed and laying around and just messing around on your phone and watching movies on TV. I know it gets really boring, but your body is doing so much work. All of the energy that you would normally have for like physical movement, being able to move around, for digestion, for all these other things, all of this energy is being rerouted into your immune system. So it's really important that you understand that the less you do and the more you're able to allow your immune system to take these resources, the faster you're going to clear this thing. Now, this doesn't mean you just get to lounge around and neglect yourself. You know, you need to make sure you're eating properly. We need some level of movement because we need to move the lymphatic system. We need to get this mucus moving. But this means, like, if you need to call in sick from work, you know, if you're sitting in an office job and you're going to be sitting here, your back is going to be aching like something horrible because all of these lymph nodes and everything, your body just doesn't have the same energy to support your posture. I know it's hard to justify like taking time from work and from commitments and things because it just never stops. You know, life just keeps throwing stuff at you. But if you don't take time when you're sick, if you don't take time to prioritize your health, you will be forced to. The people that don't take care of themselves when they need to take that time off and they push through, these are the people that develop chronic health problems. I don't want that for you. I was a person that developed chronic health problems. It sucks, okay? And it's so much harder to reverse and it takes so much more work and it's going to affect your productivity so much more. So take care of yourself. If you need to rest, just take some goddamn rest. And if you're also one of these people that just tries to do everything and you find it really hard to ask for help, now is the time to ask for help. If you can't make yourself chicken soup, ask for help. Ask your parents, ask your spouse, whoever it is that's in your support system, ask for help. One of the biggest setbacks, the biggest shame in our society is that we're so disconnected. It's so hard to ask people for help. Just ask for help. People like to be asked for help because then they can love you. They can take care of you. They can show that you're important to them. You're not a burden. Just ask for help. The second thing that will really help you with symptom relief is to make sure that you stay hydrated. This doesn't just mean drink gallons and gallons of water. There are different ways to do this. You know, we can have broths, we can have meat stock, we can have herbal teas. Herbal teas are amazing. Ginger tea, turmeric tea, even like things like lemon tea. This helps to break down the mucus and thin it out, provides pain-killing benefits. Have a bit of honey in there, it tastes amazing. Keep yourself hydrated. If your body doesn't have enough water, the mucus secretions are going to be thicker. It's going to be harder for your body to move them. And if your body isn't moving the mucus, it can't clear the infection. So the thinner the mucus is, the easier it is for you to heal. So make sure you keep a water bottle near you, drink every time you feel thirsty, and make sure that you're focused on hydrating foods. The vegetable juicing, amazing. Teas, broths, soups, all of these things really help because they're very hydrating. They're full of electrolytes and water and things that are going to help your lymphatic system to work properly. Now I think it's probably a nice time to talk about how do we actually move this lymphatic fluid? How do we get this mucus moving? If you have the energy, first thing you can do is a very light walk. You're not supposed to be running a marathon here. We're not doing speed walking. This is a gentle, relaxed walk. We're not walking for exercise. We're walking for movement. What we're trying to do is allow the body to pump the quads. This is going to move the lymphatic fluid in the legs. Also, all this movement, every time you take a step, this sort of like bang, 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 bang of the movement of your feet jolts the lymphatic fluid in the upper body and it's going to get it pumping. It's going to get it moving. We're not trying to overexert ourselves. Very light movements. This is going to really help for most of the lymphatic. This is going to cover 70 to 80% of the lymphatic fluid. It's just very gentle movements. But there's some places that can get stuck and some places that need some extra support, and this is where self-massage comes in. So there's a couple of ways you can go about this. You can use your hands. That absolutely works fine. Hands works really nice, you know, for areas around the neck like here, and especially these more squidgy areas. If you've got a massage gun, if you've got one of these work really nice on areas like under the armpit here, on the back, which is a bit harder for you to reach, and especially the area like the stomach, the diaphragm, the bottom of the lungs, and like along the sides here, like on the sides of the abdomen, on the sides of the stomach. Get yourself one of these. These are really cool. Honestly, if you buy one of these on Amazon, they're like $30, 30 euros, 30 pounds, and they come with a warranty for like 2 years. I use mine a lot. It usually breaks in about 18 months. I just send it away and get a replacement. I've literally replaced it like 5 times and it hasn't cost me a penny. So this is one of the best investments in my healing process. This is really nice around cold and flus as well. So we want to be mindful of how the lymphatic system moves, and we're going to try to unblock it from the bottom up. So we're going to start with that digestive system area. If you don't have the massage gun, use your hands. It's totally fine. Just massage. You'll probably feel areas that feel tight, that feel uncomfortable. Just massage it. We want a big focus on the sides here, the sides of our abdomen. You've got big lymph node clusters under the armpit and running all the way down the side. This is where everything drains into the gut. So we need to get this moving, you know, quite aggressive movements. It probably will feel tight and tender and it will be a bit sore. We just need to move it. You don't need to think about the direction, just move it. Just get under there, like move the tissue, really like gripping, squeezing, and like really moving it. Then we want to move into the chest, the upper chest here. So you've got your collarbone, so you can't really see it. You've got your collarbone, just sort of this region here. So my collarbones are here. You want to go just below. This muscle gets really tight if you have a cold or flu, if you're coughing a lot. And this muscle actually creates a lot of blockage for the lymphatic nodes that want to drain out of the top of the neck here. So we really want to get under this collarbone, under the clavicle, and really give it a good massage. Like I got a spot here, extremely painful, really tight. So I need to go over this a little bit and just focus on massaging this out, and then do the other side. Again, you might find one side is a little bit worse than the other. I tend to be worse on my right side usually, but actually it's this one that's really painful, this left side here. So I need to go over this one a little bit, give this a massage. You can do this with a massage gun as well. On the outside of the collarbone, it's actually really nice, like just here. When you go on the inside of the collarbone, this area is more soft. You have to be a bit more delicate. You can use this, but it's a bit hard and it hurts quite a lot. So again, just getting under here, getting all of this moving, and you'll probably feel as you're doing this, and this is going to sound a bit gross, you can literally feel the mucus like this in your head here. You can feel it start to move. And the other day I was doing here, so you get under here, get under the collarbone, and then come around and start just again moving it. The other day I was doing back here and I could feel I had these big swollen lymph nodes on the back of my neck. And as I started moving them like this, mucus started like dripping, like I would go like this, like I was pumping it, and it was like mucus, like dripping out of my nose. It was quite a bizarre experience. So we really just want to be as active as you can. I've got some lymph nodes that are really swollen up here on the front. I can feel it's very tender and sore. So anywhere you're feeling tenderness or tightness or soreness, that's really where you need to be targeting. It's hurting because the lymph's congested and it isn't moving. So we just want to go over all this area and just massage it as much as you can. And then a place that's really helpful is behind the ears, just here. So like behind the jaw, like you've got a cluster here as well. This gets really sore, really tight for me. So just moving all of this, mobilizing as much as you can. As I'm doing this, I can just feel so much heat is beginning to radiate out from all of the tight muscles, all of the toxins like discharging. I can feel I have a big swollen lymph node just here. So this is what I'm saying, like I have the pain here. This muscle that's tight is probably stopping this lymph flow on this side here. So this one's swollen up here. This is why it's important that we start down here and then we move up, because everything in the head needs to drain down to get towards the gut. All the lymph is moving towards the gut. So once we get up here, you know, we come up behind the head, move all of this, just really intuitively try to go where it feels like it's blocked. You can even come on the front, you know, if you feel like the sinuses are blocked here. Sometimes the jaw gets really tight. But really what we're trying to do is bring everything down to the gut. So we're starting really in that abdominal area, the diaphragm, the sides. We're going to like mobilize this and move it as much as we can. Then we're going to move towards the front of the chest. We're going to go under the collarbone first, and then over the top of it and sort of in and moving this, and then up to the neck. And we're just trying to move it and really look for anywhere that's a bit sore or tender. You'll find doing this provides immediate relief for congestion in the sinuses, headaches, this discomfort. I'm not saying it's going to make it 100% better, but the other day I had a horrible headache, like banging headache. I would go from laying down to standing up. And my head was like, boom, boom, boom. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Like it was horrible. And it was actually because all this lymph was just congested at the back. So just give it a good massage. And then when I went from laying to standing, I could still feel it, but instead of it being like it honestly felt like someone was like smashing a baseball bat into my head. It was just like, I could feel it was still there, but it was so much better. So get that lymph moving. This massage works really well if you combine it with the heat therapies. So if you're in the sauna, for example, or you're in the bath, you know, start doing this, start approaching these areas. Or if you're going to use the massage gun, do it just after you get out of the bath, because all of the lymphatic fluid is thin. All of the muscles are relaxed. It's easy for these things to move. So combining these two, the heat therapy and the self-massage, absolutely amazing. Another thing you can do if you don't have access to like a full body wet sauna is get a bowl of like a pan of boiling water, put some Orbis oil in it. If you don't have Orbis oil, that's the thing we have in the UK. You don't have that, you can just use eucalyptus and mint essential oils. They're the two main oils that are in it. These are really decongesting. Just stick some of those oils in there, get a towel, wrap it over your head, and basically make a head sauna. All of this steam is going to be going into the sinuses and again, breaking down all this mucus. I do think the full body one is better, but I know not everybody has access to one of those. When we were in England, we didn't have access to one. My wife had a really bad cold flu, ended up turning into pneumonia, like lots of mucus in the lungs, really bad. She was doing these like 3 or 4 times a day and they were really, really helping. So just hot bowl, boiling water, essential oils in, put a towel over your head to trap all of that steam, and it gets really hot and it really starts to break the mucus down. And it's probably going to make you cough, and this is good. We want to be getting this mucus out. We want to be getting it moving. So just a final couple of bonus tips. First is that your sleep might change. You might find that you need to sleep a lot more. If that's happening, just do it. Sleep as much as you can, nap during the day, great. For me personally, in my recent cold flu, I got insomnia. I couldn't sleep until like 1 or 2 o'clock at night because my body was so stressed. My sympathetic nervous system was so activated, and I usually sleep with earplugs, and I had pain in my inner ears. So I couldn't use my earplugs. I was finding it really hard to sleep. So you kind of just have to accept that this is just a temporary imbalance. I didn't like it, but it was okay. And I tried to rest up during the day and have some naps. So if you see fluctuations, just remember it's temporary, it's not forever. Just do your best and keep reminding yourself, this is temporary, this is temporary, this is temporary. You might also see some changes in your bowel movements. Personally, I got kind of constipated, which is really bizarre because I haven't felt constipation for probably about 3.5 years, 4 years now. So this was a very bizarre experience for me. So you just have to expect that you're going to potentially see some changes in the bowel movements because, again, your gut is the seat of your immune system. If your immune system's active, it's going to affect how you're digesting food. It's really important that we just respect whatever the digestive system is doing. So if you're tending towards being a little bit more constipated, you've got enemas that you can use for relief. You can use higher doses of magnesium. That might be actually why you are constipated. Your body is using all the magnesium in fighting this infection and trying to manage this stress. You might need a little bit more magnesium. Juicing can be really helpful. If you're tending towards diarrhea, that's your body trying to flush something out. You don't want to be suppressing this with medication. You want to be resting at home close to a toilet so your body can get whatever it wants to get out. Remember, all of this lymphatic fluid full of infection is draining into the gut. If the body's having diarrhea, it's because there's such a high concentration of viral components and toxins and things that the body is trying to get rid of it. You don't want to be stopping that. You want to be encouraging that because the faster your body gets it out, the faster you're going to heal, the faster you're going to get over it. I personally had so much mucus in my last cold or flu, and I found that the toilet roll and the tissues that I was using, I was just soaking through them. So I got myself some industrial kitchen roll, and I was literally using this for tissues. It was great. This was really helpful. So if you need to level up your tools because the mucus is too much for you, then kitchen roll really, really helps. And finally, just be grateful. I know it sounds funny. Be grateful. Oh, I'm sick. My life's on pause. You have a strong immune system. This is amazing. I, for at least 10 years, had no immune response whatsoever. Everyone around me would get mucus. Everyone around me would get sick. And I would just be stuck with a new layer of chronic fatigue. I would have depression and I would have liver pain for 3 or 4 months. If you're mobilizing a strong immune response like this, it means your immune system is working. And you should be really grateful for that because I know plenty of people out there that would kill to have an immune system that's as strong as what you're experiencing right now. So really be grateful, appreciate the fact that you can get so sick, and that's actually a really cool thing because it means your immune system is as strong as it is. And also just remember, it's not forever. You'll feel better soon. And just do everything you can to take care of yourself. I hope you found this guide really helpful, and I do wish you a really swift recovery. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.